I'm back on the Audi TT. What happened here was, is before I had it, somebody took the axles and pulled the car by the axles. Hooked something onto the axle and pulled it. If you do that to any Audi or Volkswagen, you have to go into the trunk and get the piece that goes into here. They couldn't get in the trunk because the battery was dead and they didn't know how to get into the trunk. So they just wrapped something around the CV axles and pulled it. Well, that bent the CV axles, and the car has a slight vibration. If you're driving slow, you don't really feel it, but if you take off hard, you feel it through it. So first thing we'll do is go ahead and take off the tire, and I'll do one side at a time. That way the vehicle is tilted in an angle, and hopefully I don't lose any oil, transmission fluid, or if I lose any, it's not much. I'll go ahead and start with that. All right. You go into the trunk of the vehicle and you get this little tool. It's with the spare tire. If you don't have this, it's real difficult. Get down inside one of these holes. Some of them are easier to pull than others, and just snatch it off. Then we'll just take the tire off and start going from there. All right, now I'm using a 17 millimeter, and I got this. It's the electric one, corded, and 17 will do these. It comes out with no problem. Oh yeah, don't forget, for jack stands. This is just there for backup. That's all that is for. I'll go ahead and take this off and then come back. All right. So we took the clip out here for the brake cable. It's long enough that it just lays down. What else? Okay, now we're getting this 5 millimeter Allen. Just make sure it's all the way in. Take it out so you can take that off. And then we'll take out that bolt right there. Slide it out to get this off the strut. And then we'll get ready to, then take out the big bolt to take out the CV axle. All right. Okay, I didn't have to take this out. This finally came out. This is tight. I wouldn't even get bothered with it. Take the bolt out and just pull it out, let it hang. But it finally came out. The big bolt here is 18 millimeter. And now we're gonna have to spread the back. It's a slit in the back. I have to spread it a little bit and slide this piece down. All right. I'm gonna try to take a shortcut with it. I already have this loosened up enough that I can take it off. I'm gonna see if I have enough room to take the axle out without doing anything else. This is a 27, and use this again. These nuts are usually real tight, so we'll see. She did it. Got some type of grease on it. All right, I'll go ahead and try this now. I got it. So I can put that bolt back in. I don't have to worry about any alignment jobs. I can pull this thing out right there. And there's no bolts on the back side. This is the front wheel drive. So I'll show the number for it when I get it. All right. When you get under, it really helps if you have an air chisel. Put the flat bit on, put it up in between the transmission and the that piece at the back side, and just, I had it on 90 psi. Just hit it real quick, and that just pops out. Pulling it doesn't work because it wants to come on out. All right, so I'll pull this out and put it next to the other one. Right here, I got it. And that number, that's it. That's for the passenger side or right-hand side of the vehicle. All right. And something that I don't think I showed it on the video, but I used the bolt right here and tapped the CV joint out because sometimes they're jammed up in there. Not all the time. But you go ahead and you line them up next to each other. This is aftermarket. Real thin. I think this one is factory. It's massive. But they shouldn't have pulled it with it. Make sure the splines on it looks alike, the length, everything, because I have gotten stuff that is the correct number but the wrong item in the box. So I'll go ahead now and slip this in. All you have to do is just push it in. It has a ring on the back that locks it in place, that little ring, and then on the front, just bend it same way you took it out and put it back in. All right, I put some grease on it just to slide it in, and I'll put grease on the other end. Now, it just goes in between that spot right there and go straight in. And I didn't lose any oil because the vehicle is tilted high enough. So that's good. On the SUVs and them, it's a little more difficult, but we'll put this in now. Just push it in. All right, I had to get the persuader out. It would just not pass that ring. So what I ended up doing, putting the bolt in a good way in, put that bolt in, hold it tight, and get this big boy on it. This is, I think, the 3-pound hammer. And I just hit it twice and it just dropped on in there. So now I can take that bolt back out, put some grease around here. I use that same bearing grease, high temp, and then just slip it in so it doesn't corrode and get stuck again. All right, the wheel is back on, car is dropped back down, jack is out. All that's left is to put the cover back on. That on the cover right there tells you that's the valve cover. The valve on the wheel will be right there, and that little air has a spot to go in. So right there. Right there. And that's it. That's done. I'll go over to the other side and do it. A lot of things I didn't have to take out. I didn't have to take out the ABS line, which I did unplug it because I was going to take the whole hub off first. So if you're doing it, you don't have to take off the ABS line. You don't have to take the strut out on the passenger side anyway. I'm going to see what the driver's side is going to do, if I can do it that easy. All right. This side is slightly different. It's not hard, but the axle is so short, it comes out that far. Let me get some light on it. It comes out right there, and then it doesn't, it's too tight to come out. So I have to take off this nut. I got it flush to the top, and then just hit it with a hammer, and it fell down so that I can take this one out, move it enough for that to come out, and that's the only thing I have to do. I don't have to take the caliper off on this side, nothing. So I'll go ahead and do that, pull her out. It was still too tight. After I took that out, I had to take that one out also. I think I have it now. So those two come out on this side, and then I'll pull it out. Okay, I had to put the jack onto this, jack it up, so I can hit this out. Now it's pushed out, I should be able to move it a whole lot more back and forth if I need to. So, oh, and the wrench for this one down there size is an 18 millimeter wrench, not a socket. I know 18 millimeters don't usually come in packs now. This one was 17, so we'll go ahead. I won't lie and tell you this one was easy. It came out of this side here, over here, real easy, no problem. Once you take off that bolt, well, that nut and this nut, then that side, maybe it's just this one here, when they pulled it, it got into a bind there. I had to put that come along on this same piece, the arm over there, jam a screwdriver in between it, that big screwdriver, and crank it till I couldn't crank anymore. And then I put this one in there and hammered it until it just popped. And this is how far it pushed out when it did pop. So it's out now. I'll bring the other one, match it up. Okay, they match up. For the exception, this one has a thick washer or something right there. That's the old one. The new one has the identical like the other side, but they're the same splines, everything the same. And that's the number for the left-hand side, driver's side. That's the number. I go with the same brand. Everything is identical. So now I'll just put the grease on the ends and pop that one in. All right, because you took out that bolt at the bottom, you're going to have to jack the other side back up to release the pressure on the stabilizing bar at the bottom. Okay, with no pressure on the other side, it's jacked up in the air over there. That gives you easy access. You can do whatever you want. That's the one that I just have to put the anti-seize, and that's the one at the bottom. And this side is done. I still had to hit this one in, just put the bolt in it before you put it on the hub, and just tap it in and it drops in the transmission. And it's done now. I just have to put the wheel back on, tighten everything back up. It's still loose here, so I'll tighten that up, anti-seize on those, lock them down tight, and I'm done. If it is spinning, these take an Allen number 6 millimeter Allen, put it down in the center, and then take your 17 wrench and turn it. That's all you got to do if it's spinning on you. Or I have taken a jack and jack it up on this spot here, put a lot of pressure on it, and sometimes you can just turn it without using the Allen. Yeah, on this wrench here, I think I accidentally said 17 or 18. It's actually a 19 on that wrench. Okay, so now I can let this side back down, clean up underneath, make sure everything is out, get that cap and put it back on right here. Get the jack this one back up and take the jack stands out and clean up, and this goes to the junk pile. And I'm done for the night. And it's night. It is pitch black. Okay, I came up with a code, ABS code. It don't want focus, but it's an ABS code, and that came from me when I disconnected the ABS on the passenger side. So don't unplug it unless you have the thing. So I'm just gonna erase the code because I know what it is, but I'm just showing y'all so y'all will know to don't do it. Okay.